There's a whole world beneath the city, visited by over 4 million people each day. This urine-scented metropolis is not only home to pizza-stealing rats, but one of the most diverse music scenes in the United States. Artists come from all over the world to play on the stage. When you turn a corner or exit a train, you never know what kinds of sounds you'll be met with. Sometimes it's classical violin, sometimes it's EDM violin. So we're here in New York City. We're about to run around and interview a bunch of street performers and seasoned buskers. I'm excited because I've never performed on the street before, even though I've been performing and playing the piano for about 20 years now. So we'll see what happens, and maybe later on I will get a chance at busking myself.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Dee Hu, and I'm here with a song for you.
Street performance, often called busking, goes back to ancient times. As author Patricia J. Campbell puts it, there have been street performers at least as long as there have been streets.
Ooh, I said all the wrong things.
This is a Flushing Main Street.
Oh, I stood my ground.
Just day to day, going through, being on the train, walking through the city, my wish is always to be anonymous, but this is sort of the opposite of that. You're putting yourself out there, and I think it's really brave.
You were ignoring all the signs. You took my hand and you set me down.
There's a little bit of tension in the train that's also good for performing, but it's like a different feeling.
Like, the reason I think I'm able to do this is because I come in, I bring a sincere energy.
And how long have you been doing this?
Done this actually as basically my day job for like the last 5 years. I make better money doing this than I certainly did waiting tables, and definitely than I did doing a lot of other jobs that I only did for no reason other than money. So I mean, hell, I was doing this for free anyway.
I moved to New York City to pursue my dream of music, but I was nannying part-time. I love kids, and I was like, this is a good part-time job that'll allow me to still like go to open mics and like do music. And I would see people busking, and I always just thought it was like so courageous. And I'd see like amazing buskers where I was just like, wow, like they're so talented, and they were so like carefree. And I was just like, I wish I had those guts. YOLO is what I believe and fight it up. Finally, I was like, let me try it. Worked up the nerve, and I did it, and I was making more than I was nannying. So since then, I started busking. As we light it up.
Here in New York City, there's a complicated legal history with busking. And over the last century, the city has gone back and forth on whether or not it's allowed or banned. During the Great Depression, busking became a popular way to make money. That is until Mayor Fiorello LaGuardia outlawed it in 1936, calling the street performers beggars. The ban continued all the way to 1970 when poet Allen Ginsberg challenged the ban as unconstitutional and won. Busking is protected as a form of free speech in the US, meaning it can't be prohibited in areas where other forms of free speech are not prohibited. But even though busking is now legal in the subways, that hasn't stopped the police from arresting buskers.
cops are so annoying. Even I have the apartment. They come up to me sometimes. They just like it's too loud or they're just annoying.
It was really a struggle. If you weren't a sponsored musician, if you weren't a Music Under New York musician, you go through that process, then yeah, it was tough.
I'm trying so hard to survive. I'm trying so hard.
In 1985, the MTA created a program called Music Under New York that gives artists a special permit to perform in the subways. For some, this permit is great because it allows you to get priority at popular locations and protection from law enforcement. Can you tell us a little bit about Muni?
Yes, so Music Under New York is a program that was created for people like myself and other talented performers throughout the city to be able to legally perform in the subway and not, get in trouble with the police. And so there are regulations like, spaces and places you can do it and things like that. The audition takes once a year they auditioned maybe 300 people this year, and out of 300, they chose me as one of the 30 people for this to get into the program.
Admittance into the program is through one audition held every year. And from the over 300 musical acts that applied in 2018, only 28 were admitted. This has led many musicians to criticize the MTA for virtually controlling who can and who can't perform in the subway systems.
Muni is maybe necessary in some ways, I suppose, if you really want to not break the law, technically playing with the amplification. I kind of enjoy breaking the law in small ways if I can. Maybe you could cut that out.
No, I think that's awesome.
It starts with today, no more holding me. I'm living my life, no one chains holding me. It starts with today, no more holding me.
The good news is that in recent years, the police have begun to loosen up on arresting buskers. This has hopefully created a more fair space where both Muni artists and independent artists can share their talents with the public.
I've been a liar, I've been a thief, I've done stuff you wouldn't believe.
Any noticeable differences between when you first started performing on the streets versus now?
Yes, absolutely. We've had mayoral changes. So ever since that leadership changed, I've noticed the law enforcement really loosen up on busting buskers' chops, so to speak.
What motivates you to come out here even on cold days like this?
It's soul food for me. It's necessary for my health and well-being. Yeah.
We all grow up.
I like the comparison of busking to soul food because it's the passion for music that keeps these artists coming back to perform. Busking isn't easy, and even though there are many rewards, there are just as many challenges. What are some challenging things about busking?
Every now and then I get kind of a Grinch-like person.
How do you deal with that?
I don't.
You don't.
I just...
I like that.
People don't seem to care anymore. Everybody has headphones on, or they're looking at their iPhone.
You're just talking at walls. And a lot of people do talk at walls in this city. A lot of people totally talk at walls. A lot of people are walls to be talked at.
Most challenging thing about busking is getting things here. lugging my stuff. Yeah, lugging my stuff.
Sound, no electricity.
Playing with gloves on, underneath a grate, and the cold air is just like blasting down on you, getting those sympathy tips.
At one point I was singing and people were gathering and, applauding me and really getting into it and singing along and putting money in my little basket. And this one person was like, "Why are you singing? Why do you have it, blah, 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 you sound terrible, blah, blah." And I was like, okay, I didn't really react, but she kept going, and the more she kept saying crazy stuff, the more people would just put money in my basket. So I was hoping she would keep going.
I also think that busking provides a unique space to experiment. What I mean by that is when you perform at a concert, the audience is there to see you and most likely came to hear music. However, when you're busking, you're performing for people in their space, and they can choose to ignore you or stop and listen.
You are imposing on people by being it's a public space. And I mean, you fart on the train, you're imposing on people, you know? It's, sorry, I farted on your world. But, you know, it's my idea of a nice smell, you know?
Wait, what? Okay. Do you feel like it's easier to connect with people while you're busking versus performing on a different stage or a different venue?
I think because the subway allows you to interact with anyone and everyone can listen, it gives you a wider platform to engage with a wider audience as opposed to someone that can afford to pay or who's able to pay to go to a show or whatever it is, you know? I started busking because I've known since I was little that I wanted to be a singer, but as I got older and I was auditioning and performing more, I was suffering from really bad performance anxiety. So much so that it actually was getting in my way and I was losing like the joy that I had found in singing. So that's when I decided to do something bold and like kind of like push my comfort zone as best as I could, and the thing I thought of was singing in the subway.
I deal with a lot of stage fright.
Yeah.
And I have all my life.
Yeah.
But anytime I remember that it's about something that's not within, but outside with the audience, and it usually gets better.
I have a question personally about busking and playing outside publicly on the keyboard. I'm going to try it later on today with my friend. Do you have any tips for someone who is completely new to busking?
Absolutely.
And someone who's rather shy in terms of doing stuff in public?
I do, because I was there.
Okay.
And actually, I've come a long way from when I started busking. It took me at least 5 years to figure out that you have to interact with the audience. Hey, if you guys have a request, please write them on a $50 bill, you know, stuff that gets people laughing. I mean, you don't have to. You can all be in your instrument, but it's a huge difference. I see it in the tips.
And I have a question about your Venmo sign.
Yes.
A lot of people don't carry cash anymore.
Right. One day in the middle of a set, as you know, a girl came up to me and she was like, "Oh, do you have Venmo?" And I was like, "No." And she was like, "Oh, well, I really like what you're doing and I want to give you a tip, but I don't have any cash. So you should like get a Venmo." And I was like, "That is a fabulous idea. Yeah, awesome. I should get a Venmo."
I met up with my friend Dotan at his workspace in Soho. He's performed all over the world with his upright piano in unexpected places like a subway car and the Eiffel Tower.
Hi, my name is Dotan, and today we're playing music in the subway, and it's fun.
But you've done this before, right?
Oh yeah.
This is my first time.
So I used to walk around and I'm doing such a bad job of this. I'm sorry.
We just set up and we're going to bus for about 20 to 30 minutes and see what happens.
Yeah.
The goal is to make $5.
That's a good goal. Oh, there you go. That's the one.
I'll loop this. And then you solo over. we need to up the energy?
I mean, part of it's eye contact, maybe. And that looks good to me in terms of engagement. We gotta be louder. Yeah, keep the energy out here. And Merry Christmas. How you doing? Thank you.
The buskers that we met this week made it look easy, but in the end we made just $2. Here in New York, street performers went from being called beggars to an important part of the subway experience and vital to the city's music culture.
Busking used to be looked down upon. They're like, oh, those hobos. But now, and this time I think people see busking as, oh wow, he's doing an art form. Because buskers in New York are amazing.
I think it's important to understand that what you're doing as a busker is you are giving positive energy to everyone that hears you. And sometimes you may uplift someone from a very dark or negative place.
Nobody might tip you. It can get discouraging, for sure, but that's an indication that you're not doing it for the right reasons.
If one day I was to look back at these years as the best years of my life, I'm okay with it. I'll be okay with that.